Let's get into some of the main things that I love to do for gut health that I would be recommending for you if you're not already doing it. Number one is obviously eliminate gluten, right? So like I was saying before with the leaky gut, the walls of your intestine, they act as this important barrier, right, between your gut and your body. However, what gluten does is it causes the tight junctions to become loose, and your gut then gets these leaks, right? And these leaks cause these inflammatory issues that I was describing before. And when you have too much inflammation in your body, welcome to diseases. The end, right? So you don't want these junctions to open and particles to go through, because then that causes this intestinal permeability and it causes a whole cascade of problems, because these food particles should not be going into your bloodstream, right? So cut out gluten, except in Europe, right? For the most part, cut it out. Obviously, most of us do better gluten-free. And in fact, the protein that is gluten, right? Gluten in itself is actually a protein, is that none of us are actually able to digest gluten, right? When people think, why can I digest gluten when I'm in Europe? It's in a more whole form. It's not as processed, so it's a little bit easier for your body to digest, but it still isn't good. I mean, just the FYI, Italy has the highest amount of celiac people in the world. They eat a lot of pasta, a lot of carbs, a lot of wheat, right? So wheat, gluten, not good for your stomach. Get rid of it. Even if you're like, oh, I'm like 80% gluten free, try being 100% gluten free for 3 months and then tell me how you feel, because that's when the magic happens. Like being 80%, it's like, no. When you are 100%, then you feel the glow. Then you feel the vitality of really anything that you're cutting out that's causing this inflammatory response. The next thing is dairy. So the thing in dairy that's actually the problem for a lot of adults is casein, right? So obviously the dairy that is found in America predominantly is full of shit. It's mass produced, and a lot of the nutrients have been stripped of the milk, which means that we're not actually really benefiting our body with that much. If you are, for example, a lot of pregnant women will crave milk, crave dairy, crave cheese. Eat it, right? You're actually able to digest dairy when you are pregnant completely differently. Your gut microbiome changes, which is really interesting. And often you're craving the K2 in the milk, because that's going to help the baby's organs and spinal cord develop. That's why that happens. So, which is just like fascinating. I think that like literally your body is like, I need K2. I want dairy. But please make sure that you're getting a really high quality dairy for cheese, for any of those things. If you can get raw, that's amazing. Get organic, get grass fed, get all of the good things. Now, if you are like, I cannot cut out dairy, Monica, that is literally my fucking life. Here is the solution. Cut out milk. Cheese, for example, eat the hard cheeses, don't eat soft cheeses. Hard cheeses have less lactase in them, and lactase can also cause a lot of bloating and gut disruption as well. So that's really important. Again, try it for 3 months. Notice how you feel, reintroduce it. Maybe you can tolerate small amounts of it, but you're not having it in this large quantity, right? Just like anything, if you're going to eliminate majority of things that are causing gut issues, but you bring back one little thing like dairy that's maybe not causing that much disruption for you, it could be okay. But if you're keeping a little bit of gluten, a little bit of dairy, a little bit of vegetable oil, a little bit of all these things, you're not actually, jelly, you're not actually going to feel the effects that you are desiring to feel. The last main one, get rid of vegetable oil. I did a whole podcast on it ages ago. I probably should do another one of vegetable oil and like how I eat out and stuff. I know that you guys have kind of asked for that. Inflammatory foods like vegetable oil is literally poison. It will create complete gut dysbiosis, which is basically your gut microbiome being completely off center. And therefore, it will cause more leaky gut, right? Your immune system will also be activated as a result of the leaky gut and just the inflammation, all of free radicals that is brought into your body by eating this vegetable oil. And sooner or later, your body will not be functioning the way that it should be. Now, I know you guys ask, how the fuck do you eat out, Monica? I'm just going to write this down afterwards. I'm going to do an episode of how I eat out, how I travel healthy, etc. So that I can give you guys these tips, because no, vegetable oil isn't completely unavoidable these days, which I hate. It's also why I love traveling to Europe so much, because it is so much easier to avoid vegetable oil there, because they drown themselves in olive oil. And I don't know any like pure Italian, French, etc. chefs that would be like, yes, I want to cook in vegetable oil. No, they prioritize the food quality way too much for that, and the taste of the food way too much for that. So hang tight. I will do an episode on that, I promise. The last thing that I want to bring in, no, let me say one more thing. Okay, a few more things for your gut. Bone broth is going to be really helpful for sealing your gut lining if you don't have a histamine intolerance. Okay, bone broth. If you just search like bone broth concentrate, that's an easy thing to use for bone broth at home. Just make sure that it's grass fed, organic, grass finished, all the good things. The second thing that I love doing is ginger shots. I make ginger shots on a regular basis. I make a huge batch and I freeze a bunch, and then I have it in my fridge whenever I need it. I love ginger shots for like a whole host of reasons, the anti-inflammatory benefits, but mostly for me, it's not actually about the inflammation. It's just that it helps my body to digest food, right? Ginger is incredible for digestion. If you suffer from nausea for any reason, that's also really going to help. Or if you find that after you eat certain foods, your body finds it a bit tough to break it down, let's say cruciferous vegetables, for example, taking a ginger shot before and possibly even after could be really, really helpful for you. It's also just a nice, healthy practice to get into. And the more that you are like in a routine of healthy practices, the better it's going to feel for you and the easier it is going to be to maintain.